You see this fucking insane video that went mega viral? Oh, I did. Yes, I did. Portland ICE agent jumps into a brawl to pepper spray a frog in the ass. Except people are laughing about this, but what's crazy about it is like that literally is a is for breathing. He identifies the one area for like air to come in and out of the costume and then pepper sprays it. Like he's hotboxing the dude, turning it into a gas chamber. It could have killed him. Yeah, not only do they pepper spray the frog costume like the inflator specifically to suffocate the person in the frog costume, but look at this video. I saw this one too. Oh shit. Yeah, she kept saying you're stupid, you're stupid. And then the response was to pepper spray this person like that close to their face, which by the way, these guys know will absolutely have permanent damage.
We're gonna body check it because
who is talking to you? No. Hey, this is the line that they created.
Oh shit. Laughing.
Big tough guy, man. You're a big man, little guy. This one's really bad too in Chicago.
Step back. Step back. I'm on a public
he's not doing anything. You're saying that.
What's the purpose there? Like that's just straight up assault. You understand? That's all this is. That's just straight up assault. Like this is the thing that really pisses me off about Americans, because like Americans will look at this and be like, well, he didn't listen to a lawful order by a cop. Like these are supposed to be human beings and also public servants. Like they're not fucking gods. They don't get to just like beat the shit out of people who hurt their feelings. You don't get to do that. Nobody gets to do that. It's so crazy. Americans will look at that and be like, nah, that's valid. ICE agent used tear gas to speed up traffic in Chicago. ICE gassed a 2-year-old because they were mad about the traffic. They are on a terror spree. What? ICE deployed tear gas on crowded public street because they were upset being stuck in Chicago traffic. A 2-year-old child required medical care after inhaling the chemical agent. Adults were vomiting on the sidewalk. Local elementary school was forced to lock down for recess due to the presence of agents. People in nearby cars reported that the tear gas caused their ears, nose, and mouth to run after chemicals seeped into vehicles despite windows rolled up. The incident occurred close to Funston Elementary School in the Logan Square neighborhood in Chicago, Illinois. What the f... Well, I look at this and I feel protected, you know? I look at this and I see our brave law enforcement officers doing a grand old job, you know? These guys get paid with our taxes, by the way. Just remember that, okay? They're public servants, supposedly doing all this for our best interest.
President Trump is ordering a review of Oregon's federal funding as Antifa chaos continues in Portland.
Meanwhile, radical agitators have spent nearly 100 nights straight laying siege outside the city's ICE facility.
Chanley Painter is here with all the details. Chanley.
Hey, good morning. That's right. Trump's announcement coming as the violent anti-ICE clashes persist in Portland since early June. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt saying this. Watch.
President Trump will end the radical left's reign of terror in Portland once and for all. The president has directed Secretary Hegseth to provide all necessary troops to protect war-ravaged Portland and any ICE facilities under siege from attack by Antifa and other left-wing domestic terrorists. This is not peaceful protesting. This is left-wing anarchy.
ICE's Portland director says the facility is under constant attack with little help from local police because of political directives from city leaders. And the nightly protests have escalated beyond just chants and signs. Bottle rockets are striking ICE buildings, rocks are shattering windows, lasers targeting officers' eyes, and barricades blocking vehicles.
Dog, what you're describing is at most a fucking nuisance. What you're showing, on the other hand, is military gear wearing cops beating the doorknobs off of tax-paying citizens while deploying chemical weapons on them. The disproportionality here is so severe. And what's crazy is that Americans don't realize that. Like, they have no way of looking at the situation and being like, okay, so you're telling me that these guys are throwing like bottles and stuff, and then the cops come in with chemical weapons that are banned in combat and deploying said chemical weapons as a mechanism for crowd control against tax-paying citizens while they got like military gear on. I don't know.
We use the restrooms? You cannot. We can? Okay. All right. Thank you. Interesting. That's what Governor Pritzker says is cooperation and keeping people safe.
What's been going on here? What's been going on here, Secretary?
Oh, that's Benny Johnson.
Coming to go out and do some operations to pick up some guys with criminal convictions on them, and the city police wouldn't even let us use a restroom.
And you were just blocked by a worker here from the city?
A worker at the municipal building here in Broadmoor would not allow us to go in and to use a restroom at the police station. So as much as these local leaders and governors talk about cooperating and having the backs of our law enforcement officers, this is what we have to put up with every single day. And all we're
No, they literally say they don't want you there, actually. So they're abiding by the wishes of their constituents, and nobody's out here being like, please come to Illinois. As a matter of fact, they've made it clear. They're like, don't come to Illinois. We don't want you here.
is getting criminals as terrorists and cartels and gang members off the streets to make families safer here. It's ridiculous.
I mean, is impeding law enforcement? I mean, this is a real problem around here.
Impeding law enforcement? What, not letting Christy Nome piss in the police precinct is not impeding law enforcement, dude. These guys are so funny. You are tactically engaging in a kinetic action that is impeding and obstructing my piss. As an honorary member of law enforcement, you are impeding on law enforcement activity. This is criminal misconduct. Please allow me my moment of reprieve. I must tactically disassemble my bowel movements.
Deal with this every single day. They know that
our officers that have to hold their pee-pee every single day. We're so proud of them. We're so proud of them. They're brave big boys. They are brave big boys for being able to hold their pee-pee in without having to go to the nearest precinct. As a matter of fact, they use tactical diapers.
America's got their backs, but what they face here every day is real prosecution.
Incredible.
How do you move your setup so fast and everywhere in every country and stream every day? Because I'm the goat. Well, thank you for asking. Finally, somebody recognizes all the work we put in around these goddamn parts so you can get all the news that's fit to print.
Christina Coleman, she has the latest on this morning's attack on law enforcement in Illinois. Christina.
Hi, John. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin says law enforcement officers were boxed in by 10 cars this morning in Broadview, Illinois, the very same area where anti-ICE crowds have been gathering for days. She said, quote, agents were unable to move their vehicle and exited the car. One of the drivers who rammed the law enforcement vehicle was armed with a semi-automatic weapon. She says law enforcement fired defensive shots at an armed U.S. citizen who drove herself to the hospital to get care for wounds. McLaughlin also said that the armed woman was named in a CBP intelligence bulletin last week for doxing agents and posting online, hey, to all my gang, let's F them up. Don't let them take anyone.
Hey, we are a member of a criminal gang. Let us go F those ICE agents up. That's so funny. Come on, man. We like to do gang violence to ICE agents. It's such a stupid
Very
post.
disturbing. Things got violent outside of the ICE facility in Broadview, Illinois, again early yesterday morning. Take a look at that, with anti-ICE protesters clashing with law enforcement. Approximately 250 anti-ICE protesters gathered there. Federal agents fired pepper balls and tear gas to try and break up the crowd, blocking federal operations. Today, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker put out a statement saying the Trump administration intends to federalize 300 members of the Illinois National Guard in the coming hours. Pritzker said, quote, "This morning, the Trump administration's Department of War gave me an ultimatum.
Bro, everything is Israel now. I just sometimes I think, am I too Israel pilled? Like, is too Israel brained, you know? Or is everything just simply Israel? And I feel like the answer is everything is Israel. Because this whole fake, oh, we have real criminal threats that we have to destroy with the dumbest fake bullshit of all time, permanent victimhood status. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Israel's the purest reactionary form, which is fascism. So it makes sense that the United States of America, that's also gearing towards full tilt fascism, would behave in a similar fashion.
Troops, or we will. It is absolutely outrageous and un-American to demand a Governorson military.
J.D. Vance literally said, yeah, blood libel when talking about ICE agents. He said it's blood libel to call ICE agents Gestapo. It doesn't get more Israel than that, you know?
Troops within our own borders and against our will. Pritzker maintains that there's no need for military troops on the ground in Illinois, and he says he will not call up the National Guard. Meantime, in Portland, another city with ongoing violence outside of an ICE facility, a fist fight broke out between an ICE supporter and anti-ICE protester. You could see there in that video that was a conservative influencer who had been arrested by Portland police, explained to our Bill Malusian what had happened. He has since been released. But there you go. You could see that fist fight between that ICE protester and anti-ICE supporter. There you go. There you see him laid out. That's just some of the ongoing violence there. Now, federal authorities say local politics is impacting police involvement. Take a listen.
Unfortunately, local police has been restricted from responding or cooperating at all with federal authorities, which is completely absurd.
Also last night, Portland police say they arrested two men who refused to get out of the street and engaged in aggressive behavior toward each other during the protests. Again, just some of the ongoing violence in that area.
So what happened there? Is that the journalist? The Tim Pool guy? No, right? The Tim Pool guy was like...
We're getting new reports about a chilling and downright shocking escalation of ICE tactics against the residents of Chicago. In the middle of the night, hundreds of armed federal agents and police, backed up by riot trucks, smoke grenades, and helicopters, breached fences and busted doors in an immigration raid on an entire apartment building on the city's south side. They pulled dozens of residents from their homes and zip ties, including children, some of them without any clothes. They then held some outside for hours and dragged the others into rented vans.
The horrors of what happened to the children is one thing. You also had American citizens, black American citizens, that were drugged out of their homes and detained and put through something that they should not have had to go through. And when we are having a conversation about how customary it is to detain someone, I want people to remember the historic implications of that for black people.
Okay, hold on. Wait, what would be? Wait, let me ask you honestly. What would be the alternative to go in there and say, okay, guys, raise your hand if you are an American citizen, and we're going to let you out of here. Do you trust people?
What are you saying? Yeah, the alternative is conducting a proper investigation ahead of time, figuring out if there's a criminal there, getting the proper arrest warrant, a judicial warrant to enter into that individual's home. No one else's home, just that individual's home. That is just the law, by the way. What's the alternative? Following the law? Yes, dumbass. That's the fucking alternative. What the are you talking about? What do you mean? You can't just go, what's the alternative? Not violating the Constitution? Not violating the Fourth Amendment? Yeah. No, that's the bare minimum, actually. Hello? You can't just go, what's next about a egregious violation of the law.
To be honest, like, is that the alternative?
The alternative is for law enforcement to do their job.
Yes,
and
that's
make
what
sure
they're
that
doing.
They are detaining the right people.
And how do they detain? How do they
Absolutely.
determine that? They have to see the papers.
The alternative is for law enforcement
They have to
act
see the
like a
papers.
scalpel and not like a hatchet.
Brianna, 1 second. When you walk down the street,
Like that dumbass is talking about dragnets. Ask that person about China and they'll talk about like how devastating this is. Ask that person about Xinjiang, right? The Uyghur genocide. Why was the Chinese intervention in Xinjiang, the autonomous region, unacceptable? At least from my assessment, because these guys will go above and beyond and say they were like, you know, slaughtering Uyghurs by the millions and like eating their organs or whatever the. But like as far as mass surveillance and mass detention, that was the problem. It was dragnets portrayed as a counterterrorism initiative. It was literally what the administration is doing. Dragnets and mass surveillance acted on by state mandate as a counterterrorism initiative. That's exactly what the current American government is doing. When they talk about what the Chinese government is doing in Xinjiang, they literally say they were doing a Holocaust there, okay? They were doing a Holocaust. They were just like killing every single man, woman, and child they could. But then when America is doing similar things, if not identical things, on U.S. soil, they're like, oh, well, that's just, following lawful orders. It's ridiculous.
when you walk down the street and so let's say hypothetically a law enforcement person came up to you and said, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" What are you going to say?
Well, that's not the question.
No, let me ask you. If they said that to you, what would you say?
I would say yes.
Okay, and then they said, "I don't believe you. Let me put you
but
in some zip
Weren't you as a kid at Tiananmen Square? Oh my God.
You know what the difference is when they're going into a hostile situation.
Hold on a second.
Abby, you're
hold on a second.
There are 37 illegal aliens
out of hundreds of people.
That's where people live, man.
Listen, I think that I'm just playing out the scenario
They
that
didn't
you
bust
just
the crack
described.
house.
But the scenario I'm describing is
Brianna, you just described the scenario.
Yes, and
in which
they
you
were
say that their only choice is to detain someone, make them not free to go, take away their freedom for however long, so that they can prove, not to take your word for it, but to prove that they are citizens. And if that happened to you, walking down the streets of New York, you would probably file a lawsuit. Would you not?
Abby, you are completely taking what I said out of context. So I will say it again. When a law enforcement official is going into a situation or an environment in which they know that there are criminal gang members in a confined environment in an apartment complex.
We have to go.
And in an apartment complex.
I don't want us to forget.
How should they differentiate between the two?
Hold on a second. I don't want us to
very real situation.
I don't want us
that happens to black and brown Americans
just one second.
every
Just one
single
second.
day.
I don't want us to forget.
Dude, what ICE did in collaboration with other federal law enforcement in the Chicago apartment complex is completely illegal and unjustifiable. I don't understand why these guys have some of the dumbest right-wingers. I mean, I don't think that there's an intelligent right-winger in general that you could even have. I don't know why they're doing this in the set of the Food Network for some reason.
I don't want us to forget
Like, what the is going on at CNN?
that we're talking about an apartment building in the middle of the night where people, many innocent people were sleeping in their beds,
100%,
going about their
but how
lives.
should ICE
They don't have
determine they're innocent?
hold on a second. They don't have a choice about who they're.
Yeah, and then in the process, they zip-tied naked children and arrested an entire building of U.S. citizens so they could post this video to impress 65-year-old MAGA pigs with heart disease. Yeah, they hit a Black Hawk, bro. Like, they're making it seem like they were arresting El Chapo, dude. They got the busboy working down the street. The criminal person that they're apprehending in this is like 37 dudes that work for landscaping small businesses and like the barback at the local eatery. That's what they're doing. Uber Eats delivery drivers. It is the most psychotic shit. Yeah, you'd think they're in the Bin Laden compound the way they're moving. You did it. You did it, bros. You did it. You arrested the local dishwasher. I can't believe it. You did it for the heinous crime of seeking refuge in the United States of America. Fantastic. And a ton of American citizens were detained in the process and had their stuff thrown around, destroyed in the process. All the doors were destroyed in the compound. There's been so many instances exactly like this. Slumlord wants to offload a property, so they call ICE and say they suspect migrant gangs, traffickers, whatever. ICE comes in, humiliates, detains, intimidates, and robs every tenant until the building clears out. Yep. This is what happened in Aurora, Colorado as well. They were like, oh, Tren Darag was in the building. Meanwhile, it was the dude's like 8th building that had been condemned by the local officials. Fucking slumlords, dude. And you can do this because even the American citizens involved that get detained in the process that live in those buildings are so poor that no one will defend them. Don't remind me, TYT, greatest shame by promoting that. Yeah, maybe they'll talk about this one too. They'll say, oh, Tren Darag was in this building too. Those amassed and armed federal agents backed by a Black Hawk helicopter descend on a Chicago apartment building, handcuff everyone, including kids, and then check them all for outstanding warrants and immigration status. It's fucking unbearable. Here's more from that panel with Dip Scott Jennings.
Scene of children being torn from their homes in the middle of the night because of this over militarization of a community, and just to think of the trauma and what that's going to do for the next generations to come.
It's terrible when the children of Tren Darag are having to be separated.
I know the children argument doesn't work for Republicans because it never has.
Violent situations.
But I actually
we don't actually know. First of all, we don't know who those children were, but I imagine that there were other children who were not.
I mean, it's a place that I didn't think I was actually going to have to.
Incredible. Dude, I think one of the craziest parts about all of this is that people just don't realize that we have normalized some of the most abnormal shit in this country, and every day things get worse. Every day that goes by and people defend this kind of shit, Americans are getting more comfortable with a fascist government taking over. I mean, it already has. I don't know where this goes, man. The ICE stuff is so crazy. It's just so unacceptable. And you do have dipshits out there who are celebrating this. Like, hell yeah, baby. My life sucks dick. So I'm glad when I think about like a random person who has even less than I do getting fucked over, because I'm fearful of that person. I'm fearful that they're brown and therefore scary. Horrifying stuff.